Yeah. So hey guys, hello everyone. Good evening. Good evening to all. And I hope my voice is visible and I'm sorry, my voice is audible and visible clearly. So just give me the quick confirmation in the chat box that my voice is clear and you can see me clearly. Guys, please put some noise in the chat box. Let me know like how many all are active in the chat. Please. Hi Thadi. Hi Nidesh. Hi Prem. The class is started already, guys. Clear? Okay, thank you so much. So guys, myself, I will explain you all about myself. Like I'm Anam Khan, from one of the team member from LetsUpgrade, and I welcome you all to the day one of Python bootcamp. So we'll start with hi. So we'll start the Python and we will teach everything to you all, like from basics to advanced. You will be a pro in the Python, and if you have any doubt, anything to us, you can ask us in the chat box, and our sir will be there to guide you all, explain you all, and clear your doubts. सर ही पढ़ाएंगे श्रेयस, मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगी. आई एम द होस्ट. आई विल जस्ट एक्सप्लेन यू ऑल like how to mark your attendance and how can you generate your certificate on the day last day of this program. I'm not your trainer. The trainer is Satyam sir. He will be there in 5 minutes. Once I thank you, Black Bits. So just let me share my screen quickly and tell you all like how to do everything. Just give me a minute. Till then, please put some noise in the chat box. Please put some, any of your favorite emoji like heart, fire, hurray wala, anything you can put in the chat box. And please tell us how, from where you people are joining, from which field you are, from which place you are joining, what's your name. Please let us know in the chat box. Let's connect to each other. Yeah, I will. There are also notes. We'll tell you everything. Just so, guys, I hope my screen is visible. I'm good. Kakurat. I'm very good. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, and thank you for like reacting in the chat. So, just tell me that my screen is visible. Jaipur. I'm from Mumbai, Navi Mumbai. Lecture 2 hour का है, from 6:30 to 8:30. Guys, just tell me that my screen is visible. So here in the description box, here you can see attendance link. For registration, attendance, certificate, we have one link. You can go to this link. First of all, you will be redirected to this enrollment page. Here you can, first you have to enroll yourself, then only you will be able to mark your attendance. Just, it's not opening. Yeah. So here you can see, scroll down at the page. Here you can see mark attendance toggle beside the day one title. Click on this. Here is a skill from 0 to 10, like how much you like the session. You can rate the session according to yourself. So for now I will give 10 on 10. And this is like for feedback. If you have any feedback for us, anything you want to tell us, what we want to like what we need to correct and all, everything you can put it here. For now I will give nothing and submit the assignment and then reload the page, so that this progress bar will increase. Here you can see the progress line has increased, so it will increase day by day as you mark your attendance. And on day 3 you will get to see generate certificate option right beside the this progress bar. So you need to mark all day 3 attendance for this. And we also have WhatsApp community, Telegram channel. You can join us there to get updates, to get invites, to get reminders of the session, to get links, and to get stay connected with us. So yeah, that's it about this page. And we also have student ambassador program. This program is for 1 month. It starts the batch starts on every first of next month, like. And you get various benefits from this. You get to attend workshops, get incentives, get to connect with LetsUpgrade team and all. You can go through this page and register yourself for the next batch, that is from 1st June. And also we have this one doc. Here in one doc you can get notes, you can get session links, and you can get like enrollment links, like enrollment link in the sense the enrollment link for this program. And here is the notes page. You can refer this notes, save this link somewhere, so you can refer it in the future. We have provided all the notes and everything for all the day for the day 3 days boot camp. And here is a step by step process page, like how you can sign up, mark attendance, submit assignment will be not there. Mostly we won't give assignments. So for any query you can refer this page, refer this doc, and save the link somewhere. And if you have any doubt, anything to ask, you can ask us in the chat box. And attendance link is here in the description box. You can get it from here and mark your attendance. I'm sharing in the chat. So I will call. Uh, can we get internship? Internship तो नहीं, but हाँ, you can join our SAP program and know about it more. Please connect us on WhatsApp and enroll for the program. Telegram channel, you can find it in the attendance page itself. Please join from there. Now I will call a trainer, that is Satyam sir. He will explain you about the what all things we are going to learn in this boot camp. Hello sir, good evening.
Yeah,
Hi sir,
hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How
So,
are you?
sir, you can, yeah, I'm good, sir. I'm good. So, you can go ahead and tell them about the Python bootcamp and start with the bootcamp. So, I will take a leave. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye, sir. Hope you all enjoy the session.
Yeah, okay. So, hello everyone. How are you all? Okay, so let me just give a quick introduction about myself. So, my name is Satyam Tripathi, and I basically work as a data scientist, and I basically have 4 years of experience in industry. So, yeah. So, and a little bit more introduction about myself is like most of the peoples who are like starting this Python course, most of the time they basically have this kind of a confusion that I am basically from a non-IT background or maybe a non-technical background, right? So, will I be able to learn coding? Will I be right now I'm basically working in a startup that is Easier Tech. We basically have a product that is called ODIO. So I am basically over there working as a senior data scientist. So yeah. हाँ लोकेश हिंदी में भी बोलेंगे, ऐसी बात नहीं है, बट जस्ट सी यहाँ पे सारे स्टूडेंट्स हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों के हैं. सो आई विल ट्राई टू maintain a like English and Hindi both things. I'll be just going to, so you guys will be able to understand these things. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so if I just talk about that, most of the people basically have this kind of a confusion that I am basically from a non-technical background, so will I be able to learn coding or not, or will it be hard to get a job? And just see one thing also, uh, yeah, and just see one thing also, guys, that basically uh, whenever you are preparing about something, right, we all have some kind of a confusion that okay, we are learning a basic things, we will even going to learn about advanced things over here, but the things that we are learning over here in this session or in this boot camp, will I be able to use the same thing in industry or not, or like the workflow in the industry will going to be different, or is this just a basic thing that we are learning, will this thing will be helpful in industry or not? Okay. Okay, just see aqua, yes. Okay, so data science is basically all about artificial intelligence. Okay, how you will be able to solve a business problem with respect to the AI, that is artificial intelligence. So if I just talk about Python, in data science we are majorly into Python only. So if you are learning Python, side by side you can even apply for the Python developer, and you can even apply for the data scientist. On this Let's Upgrade only, we have some boot camps also of machine learning, deep learning, and NLP. So from there you will be easily able to learn the basic of ML and DL, and after that you will be easily able to apply for the job. No, Mohammed Amir, over here we will be going to learn about basic and advanced things about the Python. Okay. Yes, Lokesh, from zero level we'll be going to start from the very basic, and at the like on the day 2 we'll be going to move little bit more advanced, and same on the day 3. Uh, Okay. Uh, Bhargav, just see, if I just talk about myself, just see this thing. Okay, try to understand this, guys, and try to listen it carefully. So I was just talking about that most of us are like from a non-technical background. So if I just talk about myself, I have did my BTech in mechanical only. So I was not aware about anything, what is coding and what is this Python and all, right? So I was easily able to learn Python, and Python is a very easy language. Okay. Yes, Sukhveer Yadav, for sure. At the end of the session, maybe this or maybe the tomorrow one, I'll be going to guide you from where you can basically get the internship or the job. And for sure, if you are a fresher, if you don't have any kind of experience, for sure you will be going to get a job easily. Okay, all you guys need is basically a little bit of guidance, because when I was preparing about these things, right, there was no one to guide me that how I'll be able to get a job or maybe an internship or something like that. Just see SS Gaming, Chat GPT. If you're talking about Chat GPT, right? So if I just talk about on the industry purpose, Chat GPT will never going to give you a correct answer. There are always some kind of a there are always some kind of a error. So Chat GPT is just for your help. Okay, so ChatGPT is basically just for your help, guys. That if you know things that how code is basically working, what kind of a problem you are basically solving. So at that time, you can basically use ChatGPT. But although, like according to my experience, almost like 60% ChatGPT used to give a wrong answer. Okay, all right. Okay, so Mel, if you basically know the basic of Python, like so that is okay. Over here, we'll be even going to discuss that, and in the upcoming sessions, we'll be going to learn a little bit advanced of it. Software, as in Python, is basically a language. For the coding purpose, we have multiple IDs where you will be going to code. Pros, okay, just see ChatGPT and AI Bird. Okay, yes, they basically have some kind of a pros and cons. Look, our language, if I just talk about Kanishk, so most in industry, most of the people are using Python only. So our people are not using that much. Okay, Jeevit, Python is really easy to learn. So I will suggest you that you should go with Python. Yes, rank gaming, you can basically make app using Python. Okay, so let me just share my screen and let's just start the session, guys. Okay, just give me 1 second. All right. So I hope my screen is visible, guys. Just 1 second. Is my screen visible, guys? Just 1 second. Is my screen visible, guys? No, no. All right, just give me 1 second, I think. I hope now it is visible, right? Okay, now it is visible. Okay, thank you very much, guys. All right. So first we'll be just going to learn about Python. So if I just talk about Python, okay. Yeah. So Python, where we can like use it. So first of all, Python you can use for backend. Okay. Yes, you can do competitive coding also. Over here, guys, just see whatever I am teaching over here, just try to focus on that thing. You will be able to learn the basic of Python till the advanced one. And for sure, the things that all right. So the basically thing is that the things that I'll be going to show you over here in this bootcamp, the same thing you'll be going to use in the industry. Because as if there are some like newbies in Python, so yeah, roadmap even I'll be just going to share. Don't worry about it, right? So what we will be going to do is the things that I'll be going to show you, the same things you'll be going to do is the same things you'll be going to implement. Okay, yeah, Zoom, I'll be just going to Zoom. I think this much Zoom is enough, right? The same things you'll be going to use in the industry also, right? So the first thing is where we can basically use Python. So Python we can basically use in the Python backend mainly, right? We can use it in data science also, right? Data science is really a good field, right? So you can easily use Python in data science also. Plus multiple things are there for the website development also. You can basically use Python, but mostly industry used to prefer Java at that time. Yeah, obviously APIs concept will be not going to cover over here, because that is uh, because over here we are just learning the basic to advanced one. But if you want, I can in the day third I'll be just going to show you the APIs and all. Yes, Gagannan, is it possible? This is possible to learn Python in 3 days. Just see, guys. In 3 days, you'll be able to know what Python is, what are the basic functions, what are the advanced functions of it, right? And after that, you basically have to spend the time on yourself only. So you'll be able to, no problem. Darshan, just see, no problem. If you are a this one, if you are a very new, if you are a beginner in this thing, you'll be easily able to learn these things. So majorly, if I just talk about, so Python we use in two things only. That is Python backend and data science. Now, what kind of a Python backend basically I'm talking about, right? Let us just say, let us just take an example of Instagram. You all use Instagram, yes or no, guys? Do you guys use Instagram, Facebook, or something? Tell me in the chat, guys. Yes, yes. Okay. So just see one thing. Let's just say if you like gaming, if you are like in modeling or something, if you like funny kind of a reels, right? So if you watch that reel and if you like that reel, so in the next time you'll be just going to, so in the next time you'll be just going to get a suggestion related to that only. Let's just say if you are like a game lover and if you are watching some kind of a reel that is related to the game, right? So at that time, the next time whenever you'll be going to open Instagram, so you'll be just go, Instagram will basically going to show you multiple game reels, maybe images or maybe something else, right? So how this thing is basically happening, if you are liking a particular post, so that like is basically getting stored somewhere, that is basically known as database. Now we have multiple kind of database like SQL and NoSQL. Okay, so NoSQL, if I just talk about Cassandra, MongoDB, SQL is like MySQL is basically there. Yeah, recommended system is basically there, but okay. So basically, Subhadra, I don't think I'll be able to do it. Okay, I think LetsUpgrade team will do it. Whatever you want over here. All right. So that thing, if I'm liking some kind of a reel or if I'm liking some kind of a post, so at that time it will be just going to store somewhere. That is basically known as a database. Because let's just say if XYZ person is there, let's just say my name is Satyam, right? So if Satyam is basically liking some kind of a reel, so the Instagram basically, what is the job of Instagram? To make it more addictive. You'll be you'll so the main purpose of Instagram is so the user will spend more time on it. So how you'll be going to spend more time on it? If you'll be able to get related reels, related maybe images or something like that, relative post, memes and all. So only at that time you will be going to spend more time on Instagram. So whatever you are doing, if you are watching something, right? For how duration, let us just say a reel is basically that is of 30 seconds, but you have just watched it for 5 seconds and you have just skipped it. So that thing is even getting stored in the database. But if there is another reel, the duration is again 30 seconds, but you have watched it till 20 to 25 seconds. That means you was interested in that kind of a this thing field, right? Aqua, just see, no Python book. I'll be just going to suggest over here. All right. Just try to follow this thing only. It will be an easy thing. In 3 days, you'll be able to cover each and everything. And rest of the thing basically depends on your this thing, hard work, how much time you are basically giving to it. This is what you will be going to do. All right. So this is basically what Python is, that we will be majorly going to use it in data science and in the Python backend. All right. Now let's just do one thing now, guys. We'll be just going to learn, okay, how we'll be going to install Python. So for Python installation, what you have to do, we have multiple options. Either you can install Python from the Python website, or you can use some kind of a IDE, or where you will be going to code. So for now, we will be going to use Anaconda. So you can consider Anaconda is basically a platform where you will be going to code it. All right. So let me just do one thing. Python Anaconda download. So over here, you will be able to see this thing. Once I have written Python Anaconda download, you will be able to see this thing, Anaconda. So just try to click on this one. All right. Just, yeah, free download. Just 1 second. Yeah. So over here, you will be going to get multiple options, like installing on Windows. If you guys are using Windows, yes, we can even use VS Code. That is all on your compatibility. Yes, you can do code over here also. I'm using a Mac. All right. Now, so for Windows, you want to download. For Mac or for Linux, in industry we majorly use Linux only. So I'll be just going to click on this one. All right. So over here, I'll be just going to click on Anaconda install for Mac OS, and I'll be just going to download it. Okay. Just 1 second. Let me just do it again. Yeah, Python you can even use. You can use anything. Yes, only 3.11 Python will be going to use. I think I have Anaconda in it or not. Yeah. So over here, I'll be just going to use Anaconda, that you can basically download from the Anaconda website. It will basically going to take time. So over here, it is like getting open. Like this is the one way. Till it is basically getting open, you can use this thing. Or what you can do basically, just write Python. Okay. You can just even write Python over here and just click on it. Now you'll be able to see this is the official site of Python. You'll be able to see python.org and just click on it. Now you'll be able to see like which version of Python you want to use. Do you want to use 3.12.3? Now one thing, what is this version is basically, day by day Python is basically upgrading itself. Previously we was like in industry we are even using 2.7 version, and we are using 3.12 version. So this is nothing but a latest version. You can consider like this thing, that previously you was using a old version of YouTube. Now if you are upgrading it, you are using a new version of YouTube, where multiple things are basically there. Okay, the advantages that previously was not there, like you was double clicking and you was able to skip 10 seconds of the video. All right. Now what you have to do is just click on this download. All right, you will be able to see multiple versions of it, 3.13, 3.12, 3.11, right? So that, let's just say we will be just going to use download Python 3.12.3. Over here it has started downloading. What you have to do is now just go on the download, just click over here. Okay, now it will be just going to ask you these things, uh, the instruction that you have to basically follow over here. So just nothing, continue, and next you basically have to do in each and everything. Yeah, so I just have to write my Mac password. This is not a password that this Python is asking for. This is just a laptop password that basically I have. लोकेश, अगर आपका नेट खत्म हो गया तो रिचार्ज कर लो, वरना आप बाद में भी रिकॉर्डिंग देख सकते हो. All right. So over here, it will be like this. It will be going to install. Okay, like this. Okay. So now it is saying like everything is basically good. If you want to move it to the pin, you can move it. Otherwise, you can keep it. That's it. Now this is basically your terminal. Over here in industry, we use terminal only for accessing the server, the code, and each and everything, right? Uh, so if I'll be just going to write Python, just see, I'll be able to see my Python. This is my basically Python. Okay. So if it is giving some kind of error over here, that means you have not successfully installed it. But if you'll be able to see something like this thing, that means Python is successfully installed. All right. Now, this is like an advanced thing. Don't go in these things. Now we'll be just going to use our Anaconda. So this is our Anaconda. Over here, you will be able to see that you can basically use PyCharm also. You can even use VS Code. But right now, we'll be going to use Jupyter Notebook because this is I can basically say, a easy way to write Python codes where you can basically able to see the output. What do I mean by these things? Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. You will be able to understand it. So I'll be just simply going to click on the launch one. I have just simply clicked on the launch and it will be just automatically going to update this thing. Open this thing. So this is your Jupyter notebook where we'll be going to code. All right. Now what you have to do over here is you will be able to see new over here. Just click on this new and just click on Python 3 just like this. Okay. So this is basically the thing where we'll be going to code. All right. Yeah, Anaconda is basically this thing. Okay, just all right now. So what we'll be going to do, guys, we'll be just going to learn about Python, what Python is. So Python is really a easy language. Let's just say if I have to call, let's just say Vishnu is there in the chat. If I have to call Vishnu, so Vishnu basically have a name. If I'll be going to call Vishnu, if Vishnu will not going to have any kind of a name, right? Yes, you can even use Google Colab. Okay. Like in the day 2, I'll be going to show you the Google Colab also. If you want, you can use anything, guys. The main thing is that you have to code at the end of the day. Yes, MCA Mama, you will be able to get the full recording. Okay. Okay, Sonali, this is the basic one today only. So in the day 2 or day 3, I'll be going to cover the data analysis part also. All right, now. So this is basically Python. Let us just say if I have to call Sonali. So Sonali basically has some kind of a name. Okay. If I have to just call person 1 or person 2, nobody will be able to recognize it. So like this only, we have something known as variable in Python. Okay. We have something known as, look, variable in Python. Okay. And if I'll be just going to add this hash, this will just going to add a comment in it. And to run this cell, you just have to click on this run. Or what you can do, just click over here. You can even do shift and enter. Both you have to press at the same time. First shift, then enter. So you'll be able to run it. Now, if I just say, let's just say if I'm learning something that x is equal to 2 and I'll be just going to run it. Now, if I'll be just going to call x, it will just going to show me 2. That means the value that I have stored in x, that is 2. So these are basically known as your variable. Variables are nothing but some kind of a word where you will be going to store your data set. Yes, you will be going to get the recording, guys. Don't worry about it. Now, so if I'll be just going to do x, so it will just going to return me 2. Now again, let us just say if I'll be just going to x is equal to 3. Now if I'll be just going to click x, if I'll be just going to type x, now tell me, guys, what it will going to show me. Will it going to show me 2 or will it going to show me 3? Tell me, guys, fast. What do you think? Will it going to show me 2 or will it going to show me 3? If I'll be just going to call this x, okay, 3. Okay, let's just run it and see what it will going to show me. So it is 3. Okay. So this is known as the thing that we have did over here, this is known as overwriting. That previously the value of x was 2, but you have overwritten it. So now it is 3. So this is how simple Python is. There is nothing extra that you basically have to write over here. Okay, now let us just do some simple things over here. Some simple things. If I have to do some kind of a calculation, so if you'll be just going to open your calculator and you'll be just going to write 2 plus 2. How do you do this thing? So 2 plus 2, it will going to show me 4. Okay, so these are basically known as Python operations, Python operators. All right. Okay. No, you can mute. Strings are basically mutable. You can change the string. We'll be going to learn this thing. Don't worry about it. P Subbu, just see one thing. You can use Python, but JavaScript used to give you lot of functionality. So in industry, we don't use Python for the web development purpose. We use JavaScript only. Okay. Now, so this is basically known as Python operators. If I just have to multiply it, let us just say 2 multiplied by 3. So it will just going to give me 6. So these are nothing but Python operators. All right. Now, just tell me one thing, guys. If I have 10, and just see one thing also, guys, over here, why we are using this Jupyter notebook? Because if you basically have, if you are writing some kind of a code, in the next line, if you'll be just going to call that particular variable, you will be easily able to see the output. All right. Now, so if I'll be basically going to do 10, if I have to divide something, so I'll be just going to call it like this. Now you will be able to see one thing over here. Over here we have written 6, and over here we have written 5.0 is basically there. So you'll be able to see like there is a digit, a dot is basically there, and over here there is no dot. So these are basically nothing but your data types that we'll be just going to learn. Okay. Now, if I just talk about this thing, that what we have to do is, if we have to do the square of something, let's just say 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, what it will going to show me? 8. But how will be going to do the square of something? Multiply 2 times, you'll be just going to write. So 2 into 3, that is this. So this is how you can basically use Python operators over here. All right. So it was easy, right, guys? Now, let us just see one thing also, that is basically known as Python assignment operators. Okay, we'll be just going to assign some operators. Let us just say x is equal to, I basically have 2, right? Now, if I'll be just going to do x is equal to x plus 5, and if I'll be just going to call x, what do you think, guys, what this x will going to give me now? What do you think, guys, what this x will going to give me now? 7, right? Because just see, why 7? Over here I have mentioned x is equal to 2. Now I am just assigning a new variable, that is x only. But what we are doing, x plus 5, that is 2 plus 5. So over here, the operation that I have written over here, it is considering this x, but it is storing the value in a new x. So if I'll be just going to run it, so for sure it will going to show me 7. Yeah, absolutely right, guys. So this is how it will basically going to work over here. All right. Now, so let's just move on the next thing. Let us just say there is something known as Python comparison operators. What are these things? Okay, what are basically Python comparison operators? Let us just say if I have to compare something, let's just say I have two persons A and B. So if I have to compare whether the person A height is equal to the person B height, or whether they have scored the same marks over here or not, right? So what we'll be going to do, let's just define a variable that is going to be 7, and let's just define a B variable that is even going to be 7. So if I'll be going to call A, it will going to show me that it has stored a value of 7. If I'll be just going to call B, it will just going to show me 7. Right? Now I just have to compare one thing, whether A is equal to B or not. So how we'll be going to do it? A is equal to B. Now just see one thing, guys. You basically have to focus over here. If we'll be going to compare something, at that time we'll be going to use double equal to. Okay, but if you are storing a value in a particular variable, at that time you will be going to use single equals to. Okay, no learning lane, we basically cannot write it like this. Okay, so like this. And if I, let us just say, if I'll be just going to change the value to 6 B. Now A is basically 7 and B is 6. Now if I just have to compare A is equal to B or not, so it will going to return me false, that these things are not same. Okay, now these are very basic things, guys, but these basic things will be going to use in the advanced versions also. The day 3 or the day 2 that I'll be going to learn, the same thing you'll be going to, the same thing you'll be going to use at that time. Even in industry we use these things when we have to compare two things. This is basically not a basic, basically this is a basic thing, but all of these things that I'm teaching you over here, you'll be going to use in the industry also. So if you want to become a Python developer, right, or maybe in AI you basically want to go, or maybe in the backend you basically want to go, right, so you should know all of these basic functions. This is really important. What you basically have to do is more practice. All right, now if I just have to do one thing, I just want to check that if A is not equal to B, over here I'm checking whether it is equal to B or not. So what I'll be going to do, I'll be just going to use this sign and is equal to and B. So it will going to return me true. So over here I'm mentioning that A is not equal to B. Yes, Sonali, right, because A is basically 6 and B is 7, right? Okay, so these are nothing but your Python comparison operators, where you will be just going to compare it. Now let us just define one thing. I have A and I have B. Let's just print these two. So if you'll be going to print it like this, or you can even use a print statement in Python. Let us just say print. Okay, this is very easy. You just have to write print, and it will going to print it for you. That A is basically this thing and B is basically this thing. Now I have to just compare A is less than B. So it is returning me false because A is 7. But if I'll be just going to do this thing, A is like greater than B, it will going to return me true because that is right. A is greater and B is small as compared to A. Right? Okay. Now, we have something called as Python logical operators. Now, what are basically these things? Let's just say over here, I'm just comparing a single thing, whether it is greater than, whether it is smaller than, whether it is equal to, whether it is like not equal to. But what if I have two statements? How I'll be just going to do it? Okay. What if I have two statements? Okay. Now let's just define a variable x is equal to 3. And I'll be just going to say one thing, x is less than 5. So what do you think? What it will going to return me, guys? Tell me. Is it going to return me true or is it going to return me false? Yes, Sonali will be just going to understand these things only, and or not. But what do you think, guys? Over here, what it will going to return me? True, right? So let's just run it. And if I'll be just going to run x is less than 7. So again, true. But what if I have to check both the statements? So I'll be just going to use AND operation over here. And I'll be just going to write it like this. X is less than 5 and x is less than 7. So what do you think, guys? What it will going to return now? Let me just paste it in this cell. Obviously true. Yeah, right. So just see true. But what if I'll be just going to write like this? My x value is 3. Okay. Now what do you think? What it will going to return me over here? Over here I'm saying that x is less than 5 and the second statement is x is less than 1. What it will going to show me now, guys? False, obviously. Because 1 is true and 1 is false. But over here we have entered an AND operator. Okay. That means both the statements that we are writing, both have to be true. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So over here, what I'm writing is both statements have to be true. Okay. Now we have OR. If I'll be just going to write this thing and I'll be just going to write OR basically means that जो भी मेरी दो statements है, so from these two statements any one is true then return true. अगर कोई एक भी ठीक है तो मेरे को true return कर दो आप. So what do you think, guys? Over here what it will going to return me? True. Okay. Right. Because this statement is right and this is not. But if I'll be just going to write 7 also, both are true. Again, it will be going to return me true. Okay. But what if both are false? I'm saying, let me just again explain you. X value is 3. Now I'm writing x is less than 1 or x is less than 2. Now, obviously, it will going to return me false. Right? Okay. Now, so these are some basic things. Yeah, right, guys. Yes, you can mark the attendance. Okay. Now we have something known as Python identity. Python, basically we have Python identity operators. All right. Sorry. Yeah. We have Python identity operators. What are basically these things? These are again similar to the operators that we have discussed. Okay. We'll be just going to discuss this thing also. Now, what is this? Let's just say x is equal to 2 and y is even going to 2. Okay. So what we'll be going to do? If I'll be just going to write x is y, that means x is y, right? Both are same. So it will going to return me true. But what if I'll be just going to use x is not y? Now just tell me, guys, what it will going to return me? What do you think, guys? What it will going to return me now? Obviously, it will going to return me false. Right? Now, yeah. So this is a little bit about the basic. Now we'll be going to discuss some main things. data types in Python. Now, I'll be just going to give you a real life example that why data types are important and why we are discussing it. Okay. Now, let us just say if you have liked a post on Instagram, and if the developers are saving that particular value, if the developers are basically saving that particular value in a database, okay, so at that time they'll be going to store it in liked or disliked, that whether you have liked it or whether you have skipped it. Now if you are basically watching a reel, so a reel is of 30 seconds but you have watched it for 20 seconds, so that will be a numerical value that the total duration was 30 seconds. Okay, the total duration was you can basically learning. Okay, no problem. Just see one thing. So if the reel is of 30 seconds and you have watched it for 20 seconds, all right, so that is a numerical value. You just cannot store it like a liked one and not a disliked one. Okay, let's just try to understand it. So if I just talk about a is equal to 1, and I'll be just going to write b is equal to 1.0. So what is this a? If I just call this a, and if I'll be just going to call this b, and I'll be just going to add a print statement over here, right? So that is your a and this is your b. So these are basically nothing but a data types. This data type is basically a int, and this data type is basically a float. Now if I have to check a data type of it, how I'll be able to do it? In Python you just have to, okay, sorry, yeah, in Python you just have to type, you just have to write type, because you are just checking a type of it, type a, and you'll be just going to write type b. So this is int and this is basically your float. These are basically your data types in Python. If it will going to have a numerical value like this, it can be anything, it can be anything, and over here like it can be anything like this or anything like this. Now just see, if there is a dot, so it will consider in a float, and if it is a int, this is an interview question, guys. This is the interview question. If you'll be going to, if you are a fresher and if you are going in an interview, so interviewer will going to ask you, explain me the data types of Python and where you will be going to use which one. Note it, guys. Okay, the operators that we just have seen, the interviewer will going to ask you about it. Okay, so this is basically your int type and this is basically float type. Okay, if I just talk about like the next data type that you can consider as a string. Now what is a string? Till now we are just looking into numerical values, but in Python you can even consider a string. A string is like a normal text. Let's just say I'll be just going to write hello all. So it will going to return these things, alphabets, right? It is showing float, just say, right? Now print hello all. So it will be going to print hello all. Now I'll be just going to store it in a particular value. Let us just say a C variable I'll be going to use. And for storing a value, I'll be going to use equal to. And if I'll be just going to call C now, it will going to return hello all. Now if I have to check a type of it, so type is basically C. So str is basically what? A string. So whenever interviewer will going to ask you, explain me the data types in Python, you will be just going to say int, float, string. Okay, these are the type, these are the data types in Python. Okay, now you all are like aware about this thing, what are like complex numbers. So if I'll be just going to write a mathematical equation or something like this, okay, now just tell me guys, what do you think, what data type it will going to give me? If I'll be just going to print, let's just say type C, what do you think what it will going to give me? Yes, no, it will not consider a string without quotes. Just see, you can mention double quotes or a single quote also. That is totally up to you. Okay, so if I'll be just going to return this thing, it will be going to give me that this is a complex data type. Okay, this is going to be complex. But if I'll be just going to mention this thing quotes, now tell me guys, what do you think? What data type it is now? Tell me guys, what data type it is now? Yeah, string. Because you, whenever you'll be going to add these quotes at that time, it will just simply going to convert it into a string. Now in a string, let us just say if I have this thing, okay, if I have something like this 2 and I'll be just going to write plus satyam, so it will going to give me an error that satyam is not defined because it is considering satyam as a variable. Like if I'll be just like I have stored something in satyam, okay, let us just say 3, so it is considering this thing now. But if I'll be just going to write it in a string, okay, again it is saying that you cannot add int and a string like this. Okay, like this. So if I'll be just going to convert both of them in a string, so at that time if I'll be just going to print it, so it will be just going to write to Satyam. And if you want to add a space between it, what you will be going to do, we'll be just going to add a space like this, quotes and space. Now just see space. Do you, if you want to add more space, add more space in it like this. Okay, now in a string you can basically write anything. Let us just say str1 variable I'll be going to give. So over here we can basically say welcome to let's upgrade python day 1. So if I'll be just going to print it, it will be going to show me that this is a string, and you will be easily able to see the value that you have stored in str1. Yeah, concatenation, right? This is what we have basically did over here. Okay, so what kind of a data types we have seen? Int is basically there, float is basically there, right? Complex is basically there, and we have even seen how to do a concatenation in a string. Now again the next data type is basically a list. Okay, Sonali, we can use it, it depends on the problem statement what you are basically doing, but most of the time we don't use it in industry complex data type. We most are like into string, numerical, int and float only. Okay, now so what is basically a list? List is basically nothing but you'll be just going to represent list like this by a square brackets. Now you can write anything in it to, and the next value, let us just say if I'll be just going to write it like this, so it will going to give me an error. That is syntax error. That means list doesn't take values like this by, if you'll be just going to add a space. So for this thing you have to add a comma over here. Multiple elements list can basically consider like this. So this is basically nothing but a list 2 3 4 5 6. No, sort of numpy array we will not going to use over here because that is basically for this thing. For the fast array basically consider one type of data only. Either it can be int, either it can be float. But if I want to add something also, let's just say let's upgrade. Okay, so it will going to show me all the things that I have mentioned inside it. It is not a array. Array is different. This is a list. Okay. Now, if I have a variable, let's say list2, and I'll be just going to initialize an empty list. What do you think, guys? First tell me, will it going to give me error or not? Or do I have to add something in a list? No. Okay, so it will not going to give me error. That is right. list 2, it will not going to give any kind of an error. So you can even initialize an empty list also. Right now, just consider this thing, the data types of it, but obviously in future I'll be going to tell you when to use which data type, because if right now only I'll be going to explain you each and everything, you will like get confused. Okay, yeah, no error, right guys? Okay, yeah. Similarly, if I want to add multiple strings in it, let's just say list 4, I'll be just going to consider. So let's just say my name Satyam, let's just say your let's upgrade, let's just say Python. Okay, and just see if some values are in double quotes, some values are in single quotes, still it will going to work. So if I'll be just going to simply print list 4, this is how it will going to look like. Okay, now some advanced things, let's just talk about some advanced things. Now tell me one thing guys, I have list 4, okay, but this Satyam and Python is basically, I don't want these things. For my use case, this is not important. I just want to look into let's upgrade. So how I'll be able to do it? Can anyone tell me this thing? List is basically nothing but a data type which will going to help you to store data. That is what list is. Okay. So just see. Yeah. We'll be simply going to use indexing. So this is basically called as indexing, that this Satyam is at 0th position, let's upgrade is at 1 position, Python is at this thing, 2nd position. So if I'll be just going to print list 4 0, right, and list 1 and list 2. So this is nothing but the indexing that we have did over here. That at the 0th index, I have Satyam. At the 1st index, I have let's upgrade. At the 2nd index, I have Python. So in Python, indexing always starts with 0. Okay. Indexing will always going to start with 0, not 1. Always remember it, guys. Okay. So this is some basic one. Now, let us just say if I basically have to change this let's upgrade to something else. So how I'll be able to do it? So list 4, okay, 1. That means I am calling this let's upgrade. Now I'll be just going to assign this operator. And over here I'll be just going to write, let us just say lu. And I'll be just going to initiate it. Now I'll be just going to print list 4. So just see, it has changed let's upgrade to lu. That means if I'm using a list, I can change the value in future. Okay, now we have, why I'm explaining these things. Now we have again a data type that is known as tuple. So let's list was starting with the square brackets, and if I just talk about tuple, it will going to start with round brackets. Okay. Now if I'll be just going to print this tuple 1, it will going to print me these things. Now just tell me one thing, if I have to change this 2 to something else, okay, so what I'll be going to do? 0 is equal to 1. Now it is giving me an error. It is giving me type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. That means if you are using a list, you can change the values in it. But if you are using a tuple, you cannot change values in it. If you have assigned some values, it will be as it is in future. All right. So this is what a tuple is. Now, if I'll be just going to, let's just say print the type of it. So this is tuple. And if I'll be just going to print the type of this one, print type list 4. So it will going to show me list. All right. So these are basically nothing but these are your data types. Now the again data type that we have is Boolean. What is basically a Boolean? Boolean is true and false. Okay, if I'll be just going to write type true and type false, this is the interview question, guys, so it is returning me bool. If interviewer will going to ask you the data types, you have to explain these all. Okay, int is basically there, we have discussed. Int is basically there, float is there, right? String is basically there. All right, complex you can skip if you want. uh String is there then, and then after that we have list, and after that we have tuple, right? Like this, and after that we have Boolean. Okay, now there is one more data type that is known as set. What is this set? Let us just say if I have a list which have multiple values, let us just say 2 comma 3 comma 4 5 comma 2 comma 4. Now do you think, guys, this 2 and 4 basically are getting repeated over here? Okay, so now what I basically have to do is, if I have to pick the original one only over here, without, I just want a list or I just want an output without any repeatance. Okay, so what I'll be going to do, I'll be simply going to use set, and I'll be just going to call this variable. So it will going to return me 2 3 4 5. Yeah, so this is the quality of set. If you'll be going to use set, there will be no duplicate. Okay, now one thing, whenever you'll be going to write a code in industry, you will going to face a lot of problem with respect to repeatability. So at that time you will be going to use a set. Okay, now this is basically your set, or what you can basically do over here is, I'll be just going to copy these numbers. I can even call a set like this. So just see, I have passed 2 and 4, but it has just returned me unique values over here. Okay, it will remove the duplicates, nothing else. Just see, set will sort the values also for you. All right, now, so last data type we'll be going to cover now, that is basically known as dictionary, and which is really, really important, guys. Dictionary will be going to use. Okay, dictionary, this is the last data type. Okay, now so let us just define dictionary. Now dictionary basically have a unique thing, that it consider things in key and value pair. Let me just explain you what is that key and value pair. Let us just say if I will say that my name is Satyam, right, and my age is 28. So if I'll be just going to call a person name, I'll be able to get the age of that particular person. Okay, so let's just do this thing. Dict1 variable I'll be just going to assign, and over here I'll be just going to say name, so that is going to be Satyam, and that again going to be age 28. Okay, so if, and let's just say some other persons are basically also there. Let's just say we basically have a person called Harshit, so he basically have an age of 27. Then we have again someone else, you can basically consider anything basically. Okay, so this guy basically have the age of 29. Now if I'll be just going to print dict1, but I just want to access, let us just say Harshit value, so what I have to do, guys, can anyone tell me? how I'll be going to access Harshit? I just want Harshit age. Okay, so what I'll be going to do, dict, and I'll be just going to call this key Harshit. So it will going to show me that Harshit has the age of 27. Okay. If I'll be going to use indexing, it will not going to work because you have to give the key over here. This is what a dictionary is, right? You have to use the particular key. Yeah, Muhammad Amir, you are right. Similarly, if I have to do with this Hari, what I have to do, take one and that particular name. So this is what, no, sad, okay. So sad only have this thing, only values, but dictionary have key and value both. Dictionary can have duplicate values. Let us just say, again, I'll be just going to repeat this one. Okay. Yeah. Like this. Okay. Now, what we'll be basically going to do, guys, over here, let us just say if I want to change the age of Harshit from 27 to 29. Okay. So that is non-mutable. So how I'll be just going to do it? Let us just say Harshit I'll be just going to use, and I'll be just going to assign one thing is equal to 29. Now again I'll be just going to print dict1. So just see. Previously Harshit was having the age of 27, now he basically have the age of 29. Okay. Now one thing, I have to compare one thing now. What is basically that? Over here I was changing the value, but now I want to compare that whether Harshit have the age of this thing or not. So it will going to return me false. The same basic thing that we have learned previously. All right. Okay. Now, so these are basically your data types in Python. So let's just again revise it. So what kind of a data types do we have? Okay. So that is again a advanced thing. Muhammad Kumar, just wait for it. You can just use len, and after that you can just mention the variable. You will be able to know the length of it. But we'll be going to move from very basic to advanced one. So other students will not get disturbed, or they will like not get confused. So we was having a int, we was having an integer, we was having a float, we are having a string, right? We are basically having a list, and then we have tuple. Okay, then we have set, then we have dictionary that we have discussed. So if interview will going to ask you, all right, if interview will basically going to ask you these things, so you basically have to explain in such a way only. Okay. Now what we'll be going to do, guys? Now we'll be going to learn something that is basically known as Python string indexing. Over here we have seen the indexing of list. If I was calling a value like this, this is basically known as indexing. Indexing. All right. Now what we'll be going to do over here is, let's just say I have a string a, variable is basically a, or you can basically write demo underscore string. Now one more thing, guys, if the name is big, you have to use demo only over here, underscore only. Let's just say I'll be just going to run it, so obviously it will going to run successfully, right? But if I'll be just going to give it like this demo string and I'll be just going to run it, it will going to give me syntax error. So this is Python. This is the way that you'll be going to assign variables in Python. Let's just say something else we'll be trying to going to use at the rate. So again it will going to give me an error. Let's just use something else. Let's just use like this. So obviously it will going to give me an error, but only I'll be going to use this thing, again error, right? But so if you have to write a variable name. For sure, you just you just have to use underscore only over here. Now let us just write over here, welcome to Let's Upgrade Day 1 Python class. Now if I will just print it, so this is what over here, these are nothing but welcome is basically at your 0th index, 1 is basically 2 is basically at your 1 index, and this is basically at your 2 index, this is again 3, this will going to be 4, this will going to be 5, this will going to be 6. But over here it will going to give me error because I have written things in such a way, okay, like this. But if I'll be just going to add a comment, that this is just a command, that comment I have basically commented on. If you will be just going to add a hash like this, you will be easily able to comment these things out. Okay, now so if I'll be just going to call demo string 0, let's just see what it will going to give me. It will going to give me w. Why? Because we have seen, let's just say a list is basically there, this was at the 0 index and this was at the 1 index, but why it is giving me these things? Because in a string, first it consider the this thing indexing by words, that this is at 0th index, this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, like this. Now the main thing is, if I just have to call this welcome, how I'll be able to do it? Can anyone tell me how I'll be able to do it, guys? I want to fetch this welcome. What I'll be just going to write over here? Who will going to tell me? Oh, okay. Okay, 0 to 7. But just see, over here, you never know that over here it is like 0 to 7, right? The length is 0 to 7. But for each and every word, will you be just going to calculate the length of it? Not right. So for that, we have some inbuilt functions with respect to the particular data types. Like right now we have a string. So we have some inbuilt functions that is known as split. Now if I'll be just going to call the 0th index, it will going to give me welcome. Okay. Now if I have to call this let's upgrade, this is at what index? 0, 1, 2, 2. Right? So these are inbuilt function that we use in real life. We'll be going to use this thing also. Like this we was calling, if we have to access the words, at that time I'll be going to use a character, right? At that time I'll be going to use this thing. But if I have to use, if I want to fetch a whole word, right? So at that time I'll be going to use split. Okay. So this will split on the basis of space. Multiple things are even there. Now let us just say, if I have demo string, again I have basically this demo string. Now tell me how I'll be able to fetch let's upgrade. Tell me, guys. Will I be able to fetch let's upgrade like this? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? What do you think? What we will be going to do over here? Then, okay, no, that is a right answer. We'll be not able to fetch it. If I'll be just going to do it, what it will going to give me? List index out of range. But how will be able to do it? Yeah, Bhavish, right. So what we'll be going to do it? पहले क्या हो रहा था गाइस, आपको एक बार ये समझना पड़ेगा कि हमारे पास ये डेमो स्ट्रिंग थी, राइट? अब हम इसे स्प्लिट whenever we'll be going to call just one second. Yeah, demo string dot split. Whenever we split this thing, it is always split on space, कि यहाँ पे स्पेस है तो ये स्पेस पे स्प्लिट करेगा, ठीक है? तो ये स्पेस पे स्प्लिट करता है. बट अगर आपके पास ऐसी कंडीशन है तो आपको बोलना है कि आई वांट टू स्प्लिट इट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस स्लैश. तो ओवर हियर यू जस्ट हैव टू ऐड स्लैश बट इन अ स्ट्रिंग like this. Now tell me, will it be able to fetch let's upgrade now or not? Or is there anything else that I have to add? Yeah, over here, okay, just see, if I'll be just going to call 0, it will give me whole string. Okay, I think I have and this one. Now just see this thing. I have executed this one previously. But now tell me, if I'll be just going to do it like this, will it be able to give me let's upgrade now or not? Or do we have to add something else? Tell me guys, do we have to add something else over here? Savya Mohan is basically saying yes. Kumar, yes. SS Gaming, yes. Okay, if we have to add something, what do we have to add? Tell me. No, remove. Okay, learning lane is basically saying remove this thing. No. Okay, space we have to add. You are basically saying no. It will going to work. Let's just say if I'll be going to add space, so again it will going to show you list index out of range. क्योंकि ऐसी कोई चीज ही यहाँ पे नहीं है. देखो, अगर मैं यहाँ पे अब ऐसे स्पेस ऐड कर दूं तब ये मुझे एक बार को नहीं दे रहा है तब भी, बिकॉज if I'll be just going to print demo string, it will going to give me like this. Okay, so you have to split on the basis of this only. Just see, even though I have added a space over here, right? So this is like this thing. Now let us just say, what if the string will going to look like this? Now everybody have to tell me how you will be going to access let's upgrade now. Yes, Python is case sensitive. Now tell me how I'll be going to access let's upgrade now. Yes, replace slash with dots, as simple as that. क्योंकि अब हम स्प्लिट कर रहे हैं डॉट के बेसिस पे. Yeah, absolutely right guys. अब आप मान लो if I have to access this Python, तो ये किस इंडेक्स पे है? ये 5th इंडेक्स पे है. पर क्या मैं 5 की जगह कुछ और भी लिख सकता हूँ? Like I'll be going to write 5, so I'll be just going to get Python. But instead of 5, can I write something else over here to get the Python value? So till now, over here, we was passing the positive numbers in the indexing. This is known as indexing. But you can even pass the negative number. Just see, this is the long string. How you will be just going to remember the numbers? So if I'll be just going to write -1, yeah, -1 not. So what it will going to give me? It will going to give me class. But Python is at -2. That is, this is basically known as negative indexing. That from the negative side, we'll be going to access these things. Okay. Now, okay, so now sometimes basically what happens, this is again an interview question, right? Interview will going to ask you that this is a given string, try to reverse the string. Okay. So what we'll be going to do at that time, for reversing the string, there is inbuilt function that is like, you just have to mention it like this. So just see, you have reversed each and everything, like SSALC. So you have reversed each and everything. So these are again, yes, we can even use dot reverse, but this is again a Pythonic way of reversing the things and all. Okay. Now let us just see. Just see, you middle you basically want to access, so you can divide the length of it by 2. So at that time you will be just going to get the middle of it. Let's just say we have list 1 is equal to 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Now I don't know which is the middle one, so list 1 divided by 2. Sorry, just len. So now you got 4. Why we are adding this divided by, if I'll be just going to add one time, or let me just add one more number, 6. So it is giving me 4.5. But if you want to do the session time is basically 6:30 to 8:30. It is of 2 hours. But we can never access the index with a float value. The index should always be a int value. Okay, so that's why we have to divide it by 2 times. So let us just say you get the middle index. Now how you'll be going to access this thing? List and call this middle index variable. So it is 6. Okay. Indexing is important. This is really a basic thing. Okay. Now, if I have a string, let's just say I have a string A is equal to Satyam, and let's just say B, my surname. Over here, I'll be just going to write Tripathi. Now, I basically have to add these things. I want to make it in a full name. So what I'll be basically going to do over here, let's just say I'll be going to write over here, my full name is, and some signs I'll be just going to add, comma, A plus B. So it is showing now Satyam Tripathi, but just see, there should be a space. So what you can do, either you can add a space over here, so it will going to show you Satyam Tripathi, right? Otherwise what you can do, if there is no space, just add a space like this. All right. Yes, this session is recorded. Yes, you can leave, there is no problem. Okay, now let's just say I have one more variable y. Now I have hi. So if I'll be just going to print y, it will just going to give me hi. Now I want to repeat this hi 3 times. So what I'll be going to do, multiply by 3. So it will be just going to give me 3 times. So that is like he. Okay. Now let's just talk about some else inbuilt function with respect to Python. So that is as is equal to, let's just say I have hello all. So you will be able to see one thing over here, guys, that you will be able to see one thing over here, guys, that H is basically capital and A is capital. What if I want to convert all of these things in capital? So for that we have an inbuilt function that is basically known as capitalize. Oh, sorry. Print, sorry, as is equal to I don't know why it is basically not working, but let's just consider this thing. If I have hello all, I think they have changed it to capital. Okay, no. So if right now, let us just consider that hello is basically there, and I basically want to convert all of these capital values into a smaller one. So okay, sorry, that is the, sorry, yeah, upper will be there. Capitalize, I think they have removed it in the new Python, because previously we was using capitalize. Yeah, upper. So lower will be going to do, we'll be able to use get lower, but same thing what we'll be going to do, if I'll be just going to do s dot upper. Okay, so it will basically going to give me this thing. Okay, capitalize, basically I got little bit confused. Let us just see this thing. If we have s, so what is the meaning of capitalize? Capitalize is basically means that the first letter will be capital and rest of the letters will be smaller. Capitalize. Okay, now you'll be able to see that over here it was like all capital, but after doing capitalize it is like hello all. So h is only the single capital over here. Okay, so these are some inbuilt function. Now let us just talk about, okay, let us just see this thing. So we have like covered, this is your day one, that what is basically your Python, like why Python is popular, how to install the Python, syntax, variable we have seen, basic operations we have seen. So now let us just see control structures. Okay, the functions we'll be going to learn tomorrow also. So we'll be going to learn control structures. So there is something known as if and else. Now what do I mean by if and else? Let's just say if today your parents will basically going to ask you, okay, go and get this vegetable, but they'll be just going to add one condition over here, that if this vegetable is not there, then buy this one. All right, either you have like two options. If you'll be just going to buy a phone, so you'll be just going to think, okay, either I'll be going to go with Samsung or either I'll be going to go with Apple. Like that depend, let us just say Flipkart sale is basically there, right? So you'll be going to think, okay, if there will be a discount on Apple, I'll be going to buy Apple. If there will be a, yeah, basically this is just an example that I'm trying to give over here. So if there is a discount, if there's a good discount on Apple devices, I'll be going to buy Apple. Otherwise I'll be going to go with Samsung. Okay, if you have a limited budget. So these are basically known as conditions. So let us just do the same thing. Okay, so I'll be just going to do over here that Apple or let us just say iPhone. Okay, iPhone 15 you'll be just going to buy. Should I add Pro? Okay, iPhone, sorry, 15 Pro I'll be just going to add, and B I'll be just going to add, yes, condition, if and else we are talking about. Okay, and I'll be just going to add Samsung S24 Ultra. Okay, now I'll be just going to add price. Let us just say price will be 100,000, 10,000, lakh. So that is not your budget. Let us just say your budget is 90,000. Okay, 90,000 is fair enough, guys. Okay, so I'll be just going to add a statement over here. So that is known as if and else. So if price, my budget is basically, let us just say 1 lakh. Okay, so Apple iPhone 15 Pro price is 1 lakh. Okay, it is of 1 lakh, but S23 or S24 Ultra is basically of less than this thing, 1 lakh. So it will be 90,000, right? So I'll be just going to add a statement over here. If price is less than 1 lakh, अगर price कम है, then I'll be going to buy Samsung. अगर price कम नहीं है, else I'll be just going to buy iPhone. If iPhone price is less, okay, so price is less than 1 lakh, right? So it has printed that you should buy Samsung S24 Ultra. Okay, now इसको एक काम करते हैं, थोड़ा और वो बना देते हैं. iPhone price, okay, and Samsung price. So this is going to be, let's just say Samsung price will going to be 80,000, or let's just say 1 lakh this time. Now I'll be simply going to add a statement over here. If my budget is, okay, so let's just say how much I'll be just going to buy, right? So my budget is basically let's just say 95,000. Okay, my budget is 95,000. So what I'll be just going to do, if iPhone price, let me just copy this one. If iPhone price is less than my budget, okay, then I'll be going to buy iPhone. So store it in iPhone and store this in Samsung. So I'll be going to buy print. I'll be just going to write a print statement, and I'll be just going to write, I will buy, and this thing, and I'll be just going to write iPhone. And if this not going to satisfy the condition, then I'll be just going to write print I will buy Samsung. So what do you think, guys, what it will going to print? Tell me, guys, what do you think what it will going to print? Guys, come on quickly. Okay, so it will going to print iPhone 15, that I will buy iPhone 15 Pro. All right. Now, if there is some other condition, okay, if there is some other condition, what is that? That both of the phones are not in my budget. Okay, I'll be just simply going to write both of the phones are not in my budget. Okay, so let us just, what at that time we'll be going to use, we have this thing, if else, if else, these things will be going to use. Now just see this thing, that if, okay, same thing I'll be just going to copy over here, or let us just say if iPhone price is less than, okay, my amount that I'll be going to spend, then print this thing. Then elif, I'll be going to write that iPhone Samsung mobile prices is, I can basically say, less than my or let us just say iPhone price is less than my amount. All right, and Samsung bhi agar like is there, so at that time print I will buy Samsung is less than my amount, then write this thing. And if both the condition will not going to satisfy, I'll be just going to write print wait for the next sale, because that is my budget, right? So let's just say this is of 90, this is of 1.5 lakh, and this is of 1 lakh. Okay, so let's just execute it, and let's just see this thing, what it will going to print. Okay, it is saying wait for the next sale, that your budget is like very less. Now the iPhone prices are this much. Okay, it should be like vice versa, right? Because generally iPhone prices are high as compared to Samsung and all, right? So over here it is saying कि आपका जो बजट है, आपका जो अमाउंट था वो है 95,000, तो ये ना तो इसमें फिट हो रहा है राइट, खत्म, टाटा बाय बाय, ओके, सो ना तो ये आपका सैमसंग में फिट हो रहा है, ना ही ये जो आपका प्राइस है ये आईफोन में फिट हो रहा है. तो व्हाट ऑल यू कैन डू इज वेट फॉर द नेक्स्ट सेल, सो यू विल बी एबल टू बाय योर ड्रीम फोन. ओके, no, right now we are not using input, but for sure tomorrow I'll be just going to show you this thing. Okay, so this is nothing but this is a if and else condition. Okay, so if let us just say whichever the first condition, let us just say this iPhone is going 90,000. Okay, and this will again going to be 90,000. Okay, your budget is 95, but whatever the first condition that you have written, and it will, if it will going to satisfy this one, it will not go in this one, because both the prices are same, right? So you will be just going to execute, both the prices are same, but ये जो आपने पहली कंडीशन डाली है ये इसको ही लेगा हमेशा. ओके, अब यहाँ पे आप कुछ और भी ऐड कर सकते हो, मान लो, ठीक है, मान लो इफ आईफोन प्राइस is less than my amount and Samsung price is less than my amount that I'll be going to spend. Okay, then I'll be just going to print you can buy any one phone. Okay, so over here I'll be just going to remove it and let's just see this thing. So now you'll be able to see हमने एंड कंडीशन ऐड कर दिया यहाँ पे. Okay, so over here it is like that is your choice whether you want to go with Apple or whether you want to go with Samsung. So that is completely your choice what you basically want to do over here. Okay, this is what it is saying. Or you can like add or statement also over here or anything whatever you want that we have just seen. Okay, now we'll be just going to cover for loop, guys, and after that I'll be just going to end this session. Okay, and rest of the things we will cover in the next session. So for loop we'll be going to consider. For loop is really important, guys. If you are giving an interview, it's not like that interview will going to ask you very easy questions, and neither it will be too hard. Okay, but it will be a decent one because interview will also know, interview will just want to check your knowledge. Okay, yeah, Abhinay, I'll be going to explain in English only, don't worry. So what is this basically for loop? Let us just say I have list one, so I have multiple values, like this will be going to be in any way, like not in ascending or descending. Okay, like this. Now, so look, if interview will going to ask you some kind of a question, if you'll be completely able to do it, that is really good for you. But if you'll be able to do it, if you'll be able to build a logic for it, that is even sufficient. You will going to get a job even at that time. Just try to understand the things, try to understand the problem over here. Okay, now let us just say if I want to print these things one by one. Okay, so how I'll be going to do for loop is for I in list one. That means for loop what it will going to do, one by one it will iterate all the values that is present over here. So let us just say print I. So just see. Okay, as it is in the sequential way, it has printed all the values. So that is your for loop. But if I want to print till 4 only, what I'll be going to do? Tell me, guys. What do you think? If I have to print it till this 4, tell me, guys. Yeah, you can consider it is in order wise. I is basically, let us just say, not, let us just not consider I, let us just say for number in list 1. This is the syntax of writing a for loop. Okay, this is a syntax that you are writing for. I want to go inside this list, in this list, and one by one the number that you are iterating, you are storing that in a number. Yes, break we can use, but we can even use indexing. Just see till 4. Just 1 second. Oh, print I. It is printing I, the previous one, but we should print number. Okay, till 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Like this, these are 4 values. Okay. Okay, let's just take it little bit in a more advanced way. Some of you might be going to understand, but if you'll be not able to understand, that is completely okay. This is the thing that we can do, or what we can do. For num in list 1, okay, print num, one by one it will be going to print, but over here we'll be just going to add a counter value. Counter is equal to 0, and whenever it will be going to print, we'll be just going to increase the counter value by 1, and we'll be just going to add a condition. If counter is equal to 4, then break it. So just see this thing. Learning lane, I'll be going to give you questions, not today because today is the very basic part, but for sure tomorrow I'll be going to give you a good resource from where you will be easily able to learn all the coding questions, like all the coding things in Python. Okay, and I can bet on this thing also that if you'll be going to follow that website, even all the interviews question that interviewer will going to ask you, all of that questions are already present over there, from the very basic to the very advanced one. So this is a little bit complex. We even have to understand this break. So just see this thing. We have understood about the if condition, right? We have even added that if condition over here. These operations we have understood. We have even added this thing, right? In is like basically what? Let us just say I have a list 2. This will going to look like this. Now I want to check whether this number is in list 2 or not. So 231 in list 2. So it is returning me true that yes, this number is present. Okay, so the small things, the basic thing that we have seen. Okay, this also like we can do. Okay, yeah, Lapulga, we can even use the range one, but till now we haven't discussed it. Okay, so guys, tell me, have you enjoyed the session or not? Was it like some way, or was it helpful to all of you or not? What do you think? No, we cannot write it like this, Abhishek. But just tell me, guys, was this session helpful or not? Sayan, you basically have to join these classes for the 3 days, and after that there will be assignment. The things that I have basically taught you over here. The assignment questions will be from these questions only that I'll be going to explain you over here. Okay, so you just have to give that, and after that you will be able to get the certificate, guys. Okay, guys, so thank you very much all for joining. For sure I'll be tomorrow, this was the very basic one, but tomorrow for sure I'll be going to teach you something really unique, and even at that time I'll be going to tell you how these things are related to the industry. So you'll be able to relate the code, the logic. I'll be even going to give you, even the problem statement I'll be going to tell you that if we are doing these things, what is the reason behind it, and I'll be going to give you an industry example also. Okay guys, so I can basically say, let me just stop presenting my screen. This is it for like today's session, guys. Okay, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and tomorrow for sure we'll be going to learn something really new. All right. Okay then, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Good night, everyone. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye. Thank you very much, guys.